What in the world is she thinking? Ayaka cursed as she watched Kawa running towards the sound of the car. She doesn't even know if it's someone good or bad. It could even be someone fleeing from the monsters. Checking on Mizuki, Ayaka could see that her friend was worried about the woman, despite the insanity that Kawa was displaying. Gritting her teeth, Ayaka said, "You stay right here." Pointing to Masio, "Make sure to look after Mizuki." Ayaka made a mad dash towards the crazed Kawa, who was now proceeding to make her way through the trees. Due to the woman's lack of fitness and being starved for so long, Kawa hadn't made too far through the forest. Ignoring the cramping of her stomach, Ayaka pushed herself to run faster. I guess physical education classes at school had some benefits. The thought went through her mind. Jumping over a fallen branch and pushing off the trees that she passed, slowly, Ayaka was making ground. Checking ahead of Kawa, Ayaka was startled to see a road up ahead. Though they had heard the sound of a car, it still hadn't felt completely real. A part of her stubbornly stuck to the idea that the sound had just been something out of her imagination due to the lack of food for what could be weeks. Breathing heavily, Ayaka shouted, "Kawa! Stop! We don't know if it's safe." Despite the worry about being heard from the creatures, she was more worried that the car being heard was bringing danger. Kawa kept running ahead, though at this point, it appeared that the woman was struggling to continue the pace she'd been going. Ducking under a branch, Ayaka just needed a little bit more until she'd caught up to Kawa. At the last moment, Ayaka jumped and dived into Kawa, the two of them tumbling to the ground. She used all of her strength to restrain the struggling woman. "Let go of me! What are you doing? It's going to leave us behind!" Kawa screamed as she yanked on Ayaka's hair. "We don't know if that car is safe. What happens if it's being chased by those things?" Ayaka yelled, hoping that her words would sink into the madness that Kawa was currently drowning in. Once Ayaka pinned Kawa to the ground, she breathed heavily from the effort. "It's only because both of us are so weak from lack of eating that I can actually do this," she thought to herself, sitting on top of Kawa, who was crying. Ayaka looked towards the road and watched as a military vehicle from the self-defense force drove by. She was not expecting to see a vehicle from the military to drive by on such an isolated location. Raising an eyebrow, Ayaka asked, "Do you think it's normal for an armored vehicle from the self-defense force to drive on the road in such an isolated area?" Learning that was a military vehicle that they'd heard, Kawa paused. No longer was she eager to approach the people. "From what I remember, most of the self-defense force had been overrun during the initial night. Aside from some scattered forces, like the base we stayed in, most of them were turned." Ayaka walked Kawa through her thinking. Kawa didn't even complain about Ayaka being on top of her.